at the same time to ensure that you see the green card, the yellow card, and hey, the red card.
District Director, Distinguished Toastmaster Elka Price, Division Council, our esteemed facilitators and functionaries, Toastmasters Division E, guests, a superb and splendid Saturday afternoon to each of you, and an exquisite Division E welcome. Thank you for making the effort to be here today. We have a proficient, elite, and knowledgeable set of Toastmasters who will be facilitating mastering table topics. Please glean everything that you can from this table topic session. Ask questions, take notes, and most of all, enjoy the training. When you go back to your meetings, and you take the role of table topics master or speaker, you will wow them with your aplomb in handling that role. Again, a hearty and sincere welcome to all Toastmasters on this platform. Have a fantastic session. Madam Toastmaster, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much. The virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you very much for that very hearty welcome from our immediate path division director. So far we've been setting the tone. You've understood your promise, how we've pledged to be active, how we pledge to be Toastmasters that participate and learn and grow. You also open your mind to understand that when we say things like Toastmasters, we hear eloquence, we hear excellence, we hear leadership. And we've just received more admonition from our past division director, who indicated that when we get into the role of table topics master or to be a table topic speaker, that we would stand strong, dedicated, and sturdy, and feel confident in our role of doing a table topic or leading the table topic segment. Now we are getting into the meat of the matter, Toastmasters. And I know that you are getting as excited and riled up as I am as we prepare for our two speakers. First, I am going to invite Toastmaster Christine as she introduces our first speaker for the day, which is Toastmaster Daphne Furlonge. I now invite Toastmaster Christine to the virtual lectern.
Daphne Furlonge has been a Toastmaster for over a decade. She remembers a time when she would never get up and speak in public, much less chair a meeting in a new country or facilitate a workshop like today. She credits Toastmasters with giving her the skills and confidence to get up and speak. She likes to think of herself as a Toastmasters global citizen and has visited many clubs around the world, including Australia, Malaysia, the UK, South America, and Zimbabwe, as well as many clubs within District 81. She considers the establishment of the first Toastmasters Club to be her most notable accomplishment in Toastmasters. Our facilitator, Daphne Furlonge from M&I Speakers Club in Montserrat, is a Toastmaster for life. She encourages anyone looking for an effective way to remain a lifelong learner to find and join a Toastmasters Club. Our next facilitator, Ernald George, has been a dedicated Toastmaster for 6 years and is currently working on his 5th path. Throughout his journey, Ernald has served in various leadership roles, including club president, area director, vice president education, vice president membership, and treasurer. His extensive experience in those roles has provided him with invaluable insights into communication and leadership. Ernald is passionate about using his knowledge to help and inspire others to excel. He firmly believes in the importance of lifelong learning and perseverance, always striving to be a lifelong student. Toastmaster Ernald's commitment to personal growth and his proactive approach makes him a valuable asset to the Toastmasters community. His dedication to helping others achieve their goal is truly commendable. Let's give it up for our facilitators of today.
Thank you very much to the logistics team for giving us such an awesome introduction by video for our presenters. I want us to take a moment to recognize that in our presence, we have our district director, who awesomely hails from our very own division, Division E. So give us a virtual clap. Unmute your mic if you want to, and let us make our district director feel more than welcome in our presence here in Division E as we continue with our program this afternoon. Let's unmute our mics and give a round of applause. Thank you so much, and thank you, District Director, for not being too busy for us, your division right here in Division E. Thank you for being present. So now, without further ado, we will welcome Toastmaster Daphne to the virtual lectern to lead us into our first presentation of the day.
Madam Toastmaster, Madam District Director, Division Director, Area Directors, I want to start with a story. About 20 years ago, a young lady is walking along with her friend. Her friend she meets lots of friends along the way, and she's continuously speaking and responding to questions. This young lady marvels at the way her friend responds to every question that she asked. This young lady thinks, I could not answer questions like that, but I really, really wish I could. That young lady, Daphne Furlonge, once could not answer questions as they were asked of her. But to date, she has reached as far as the district contest and placed third in impromptu speaking. It's a skill that can be learned. Now, this evening, we are going to look at what impromptu speaking is, or what table topics is, because that's what we call it in Toastmasters. But outside of Toastmasters, we do not say table topics. We learn table topics in Toastmasters so that we can use impromptu speaking outside of Toastmasters. So we're going to look at what that is. You're going to tell me some situations where you use it, how you feel about it, and then we're going to look at some tips that you can use to help you. And table topics, I'm going to expect you to give a table topic or two. Okay, so we are ready. First, I am going to ask you, and you can just unmute and shout it out, or if you feel too nervous to shout it out, which I'm really hoping that you don't, since we're doing table topics, I want you to just write it in the chat. So tell me what describes how you feel about impromptu speaking. And just one word is enough. Tell me one word that describes how you feel about table topics.
Fearful.
Excited.
Intimidated.
Frustrated.
Nervous.
I'm hearing nervous, frustrated, intimidated. Okay, I know that some people feel like that. However, we're going to learn some tips to help you get over that nervous feeling, that feeling of intimidation. And we know that they can be learned. Before we move on, though, I want you to think about your last impromptu speaking experience, whether it be in Toastmasters, at work, with family and friends. Think about your last impromptu speaking experience and just give me one word that sums up how you felt about that particular experience. One word that sums up your last impromptu speaking experience.
Comfortable.
Comfortable.
Unsure.
Unsure. Nervous. Okay, so comfortable, fantastic. Continue feeling comfortable and moving on. And I'm sure there's skills that you use, which we're going to tell the others about in a few minutes. Nervous is very common, but nervous is not what we want to feel when we're in a situation where we're doing an impromptu speech. So how will we get over that nervous feeling? Or if we even don't get over that nervous feeling, how do we deal with it? The first thing that you're going to do to deal with that is to think, pause, and then speak. So you're asked a question, there's no rush. Think, pause, and then speak. Or we can even turn it around. Pause, think, and then speak. That allows you to get over that nervous feeling. I know sometimes people feel the need to rush right in. That silence, some people cannot deal with silence and they think, I need to fill up the space with words or the silence with words. That is not necessary. Just pause. Think about the question that you have been asked, and then you can speak. So that is the first thing that you're going to do. Then the next thing that you can do is focus on one or two key points that you want to make. Do not have to say lots and lots of things. One key point that you want to make. Or if you have time, you can make it two key points that you want to make. But one is generally ideal. That one key point that you want to make. You focus on that and then speak on that one key point. Now, those two things we're going to do, we're going to pause, think, and speak, and then we're going to focus on the key point. But it's also fantastic to have a structure that you're going to use to deliver your table topic. And there's one structure that I really want to tell you about that I think is great. There are many, but I'm going to tell you about one. So you only have to remember one structure from me this evening. And it's called the PREP method. What's the point you want to make? What's the reason for making that point? Give us an example. Here you can weave a little story around that. And remember, stories are really engaging and they come so easily to us often that we can use them. And you can then reiterate what your main point is. So the PREP method again, and we're going to use it in a little while, so make sure that you have noted it. Using the PREP method, you're going to make your point. So you get asked the question, you're going to make that point. Give us a reason why you're making that point. Give us an example or a little story around that. And then you can conclude by reinforcing that point that you have given. Are we ready to use PREP? Tell me, I want to hear your voices. Yes, we're going to use PREP. So I am going to give you 3 questions. And I want the person who said nervous and intimidated and that sort of thing, I want them to put their hands up or volunteer to give one of these. I thought I heard distinguished Toastmaster Susan Hodge's voice. Did I not? If I did, I know she doesn't like table topics, but I know she will love this question and she will be able to do point, reason, example, point. So the first question or the first statement, pineapple belongs on pizza. Pineapple belongs on pizza. Can I have a volunteer or can I have distinguished Toastmaster Susan Hodge if she's in the room? I'm looking for gallery so I can see if I see her. I heard her voice earlier.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you're there. That's one for you. Pineapple belongs on pizza. I know you love pizza, so this is a good one for you.
Of course, pineapple belongs on pizza. We love sweet and sour, chicken, whatever it is, pork, however we like it. Sweet and savory go together on pizza. Reason, sometimes the savory is a little bit too salty. So if we have the pineapple, it will cut the salt and make that pizza taste even better. An example, I love garbage pizzas. That's a pizza with everything on it. And it doesn't taste like everything is on it unless you have pineapple to cut some of the saltiness of the chicken, the ham, the pepperoni, the sausage, the mushrooms, all of those wonderful vegetables. And that little bit of pineapple makes it just perfect. So once again, I'd like to say that pineapple on pizza is exactly what is needed. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you notice that she did not sound nervous. There's absolutely no reason to be nervous. Just do point, reason, example, and reiterate that point. And she did that beautifully. One thing, though, that I would like her to do for improvement the very next time, don't bother to say example. Leave the word example and just give us the example. That works very well. Now we're going to have another person demonstrate that point, reason, example, point. And I'm reiterating over and over so that you do not forget. Why is public speaking important? Why is public speaking important? And this one goes to Wesleyan Walters.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Why is public speaking important? Public speaking is important because we all are speakers. We may speak at home, we may speak at work, at school. So definitely you need to be a public speaker. Sometimes it's hard to be that proficient, eloquent speaker at the first, but as we move on, as we engage with others, we are growing, we are learning. So definitely, we should allow public speaking to be a part of our daily agenda because it is important. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Wesleyan. We heard point, we heard reason, and we heard the reiteration of that point. It would have been fantastic if we heard that example or that story. Possibly it could have been a time when you had to use public speaking and public speaking in an area where you're not accustomed to. So it may be at work. We do public speaking with our friends all the time. That's a little easier. So you might have used an example at work or an example at your Toastmasters club or an example at church. So remember, example. Don't leave that example because it makes your speech that much more engaging. And we're going to do one more just to ensure that we have it. The next one is every adult should have a fun hobby. Every adult should have a fun hobby. And this, I think, goes to Toastmaster Kedimone.
Good afternoon, Toastmasters and guests. Of course, every adult should have a fun hobby simply because in order to stay young, we need to be engaged and have anything that would keep us lively, keep our minds going. For me, I have found the love of games on my iPad. When I was younger, there was a game called Farmville, and I was addicted to Farmville. Farmville disappeared, and I recently found it again. I am literally at this training and playing Farmville because it keeps me engaged, it keeps my mind going, and it helps me to relax after a very long, stressful, tiring week. If you do not have a fun activity as your outlet to help you remain positive, to give you something to look forward to help you to just unwind, I suggest you reconsider because every adult should have a fun hobby. Back over to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Kedimone. And for those of you who were still struggling, that was excellently done. We heard the point reiterated. Yes, you should have a fun hobby. We heard why you should have that fun hobby. We heard an example of her fun hobby. And then she reiterated that, yes, you needed that fun hobby. It keeps you young. So we have heard prep. Now let's continue. We know that one of the biggest challenges in impromptu speaking is when you get asked an unexpected question, something you didn't expect at all, just came out of the blue, like we just did. Now let's look at another way of handling these situations. And you can use this to help you think about what you're going to say. Here you're going to acknowledge the question, and then you're going to have a little bridge where you transition to your main point. For example, you're going to recognize the question. So I asked, why, let's say I asked, should we put pineapple on pizza? You can say, should I put pineapple on pizza? Is that something we should do? Let me tell you, I love pineapple on pizza. So you acknowledge the question, or you could have acknowledged the question in another way where you said, thank you for that question. Yes, pineapple should go on pizza. And here's why. So you acknowledge the question by either repeating it or thanking whoever asked you that question for the question while repeating it, because that then gives you more time to think about the response. So again, you acknowledge the question, and remember the reason for doing that is to help you to think of a response. Then you have a little bridge where you transition into responding to that question. Now, here's an example. Let's see if we can do one. Why should we prioritize Toastmasters? Why should we prioritize Toastmasters? And I'm going to ask Sharian, Toastmaster Sharian, to respond to that question using an acknowledgement and a bridge before going into the response. Toastmaster Sharian? Okay, I'm not hearing from Toastmaster Sharian, so I am going to ask Toastmaster Yelma, and I'm going to repeat the question. Why should we prioritize Toastmasters? Why should we prioritize Toastmasters? Yelma.
Why should we prioritize Toastmasters? But I think that it should be prioritized because Toastmasters offer so much. We can develop in our public speaking, in our leadership, in our evaluation, in our ability to speak impromptu. Toastmasters just offer so much. And that is why I have personally chose to prioritize Toastmasters. While I was here in the meeting, a call came in. I ignored the call because my priority right now is Toastmasters. And because of the many benefits, I will continue to prioritize Toastmasters. There are two exceptions, of course. My God comes first. So I will, anything to do with church and my preaching, that goes above. But generally speaking, Toastmaster does it for me. Thank you very much, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much for that response, Toastmaster Yelma. And we have heard her bridge was to repeat the question, her acknowledgement was to repeat the question. And then she went into responding. And she made her point. She still used prep. She made it a point. She said why. And we heard lots of reasons why we should prioritize Toastmasters. We also heard examples of her prioritizing. And then she rounded up with her main point. So we heard that over and over. Now, is there anyone who feels that they cannot go to their next Toastmasters meeting and use prep and volunteer to respond to the next table topic question just to show that they have learned how to respond to their table topic question. Wonderful. I like that silence. Now I want to hear responses. Who can go to their next Toastmasters meeting and volunteer to take part in table topics because they now know how to respond comfortably to a table topic question? And you can unmute and say, me.
Me. I will definitely be doing that later this evening.
Wonderful. So
Me,
I'm
because I'm
looking
table
forward.
topic master.
And who is going to stop taking the table topic master question so that they can take part in table topics?
Not
And
me.
I'm expecting to hear a me from distinguished Toastmaster Susan Hodge.
Me.
Not me.
Wonderful. Okay, so now let's do a quick review. I haven't seen a timer, so I'm assuming that I have lots of time still. Let's do a quick
Yes, you
review.
do. You have more than 10 minutes left.
I have more than 10 minutes left. So let's do a quick review. You get asked a table topic question. You've been introduced. What do you do?
Think, pause,
Yeah.
and then speak.
Okay? Or you can do pause, think, and speak. Whichever way you do it, wonderful. That's what we do. Pause, think, and speak, or think, pause, and speak. Then, what's the next thing you do once you start speaking?
Focus
You
on
ask
one
me.
or two key points of the question.
Focus on one or two key points, and we like one. One is nice and easy, but one or two key points, wonderful. Yes, we do that. Then what's the next thing that we need to think about?
The structure.
The structure. And don't forget the structure. And what structure have we learned this evening?
Prep. Prep method.
Prep. And the P of prep is?
Point.
Point. R.
Reason.
E.
Example.
And we know that
Or
that's where
story.
those stories come in.
That's
So that
right.
example is where our stories come in. And don't ever forget that. We love to hear stories. And the more personal they are, the better. Because we're nosy people by heart. Even though we don't want to tell you that we're nosy, we just love hearing about you. We want to hear your stories, so include them. And then we end up with the P at the end is?
Point.
Point. So we reiterate that point. Now, there's one thing else that I want to tell you before we leave. You see, when you're making that final point, just before you make that final point, have some sort of call to action or something that you want your speaker, your listeners to go away thinking about. So, pineapple on pizza. Perhaps at the end you can say, will you try pineapple on pizza? Or you can say, next time you buy a pizza, put some pineapples on and just test it. Because I think pineapple on pizza is the bomb. Okay, so put in a little call to action or something that you want people to go away thinking about at the end, just before that rounding up. Now, I think that we have a little more time, so maybe we can do another two table topic using two other individuals who we have not yet used. Question. I do not have a hobby. I do not have a hobby. Or it's a statement. And I want Rosanna, Toastmaster Rosanna, respond to that. I do not have a hobby.
Thank you for that question, Madam Table Topic Master. I do not have a hobby for that statement. I do not have a hobby. That's an interesting statement because I have lots of hobbies. So I do not have a hobby. If I should answer that question, maybe it's because I am too busy working all the time. I work long, hard hours, and by the time I get home, I'm tired. I'm a night owl. I'm up late at night, and then I'm grinding again the next day. So I really do not have a hobby. But what I can do to ensure that I do have a hobby, at least one, is that I need to plan my day out better so that I can have that moment for myself to engage in a hobby that would benefit me. So I get the time to relax and reflect on life and maybe plan for the next day to have that introspection. So that's what I should do to enable me to have a hobby. I do
Thank you
not have a
very
hobby.
much.
It's not a good thing to not have a hobby. So I would encourage anyone, if you do not have a hobby, please. It is important for you to have that hobby, that personal time for yourself, or that relaxing activity that could just take your mind away from work and everything else. Back to you, Madam Tabletopic.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rojan.
That was
Now,
difficult.
let's dissect that response. Toastmaster Rojan started out by repeating the question, and then she said it was an interesting question because she has lots of hobbies. And I'm going to pause at that point. That, Toastmaster Rojan, was a fantastic opening, and you should have continued down that road. Remember, when you get a question, you do not have to agree with the question, or you can have a statement, you do not have to agree with the statement. You can say something different. So, I do not have a hobby. There's no need for you to say, I do not have a hobby. Like Toastmaster Rosanna did, you can say, that's an interesting statement, but I have lots of hobbies, and then continue speaking about the lots of hobbies that you have, because something different, a different response to the statement that you're given is always engaging. So Toastmaster Roseanne, continue down that road. And for any other ones of you who get a similar question that you do not, or similar statement that you do not agree with, there's no need to agree. Say whatever it is that is true for you, or say what works for you. If you notice, Toastmaster Rosanna, at the very end, I like what she did. She remembered what we said about having a call to action and actually putting in that if you do not have a hobby, take some time out to find yourself a hobby. And so remember to include that in your response. Let's try one more. I love when it's hot. I love when it's hot. And this one goes to Toastmaster Daisy. I love when it's hot.
Okay. Thank you for choosing me. I love when it's hot. I love when it's hot when I'm indoors. When I'm indoors, I can handle the heat
because it's air conditioned indoors. I am a winter person. I love winter. And in the heat, oh, I am so different. I'm so different in the heat that I'm running from the sun. Let's just put it that way. Unless there's a beach. Now, if there's a beach around, I'm going to be at the beach. I love the beach. Anything after that, I'm waiting. I'm ready for the snow. I'm in New York, so I am definitely ready for the snow. Waiting patiently. But I admire those people in the Caribbean that have that hot heat from the sun and they're enjoying it all the time. I love to watch them enjoy. And I'll also love for everyone else to love winter. Come on down to New York City.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Daisy.
You're welcome.
I love when it's hot. And I specifically said I love when it's hot because I know some people do not love when it's hot. And the kind of response that I was looking for was I love when it's hot when I'm at the beach. Or I hate when it's hot. So it could have been I love when it's hot. No, not me. I love when it is cold, Toastmaster Daisy. So that could have been a different way of handling that question. Or because we're trying to make one point, it could have been I love when it's hot and I'm on the beach.
Excuse me, Toastmaster Daphne, you have 3 minutes left.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster, distinguished Toastmaster Susan. Okay, so we have chance for one more. And there's someone who I have been looking at all evening who has been smiling away, and I know she's waiting for a question, so I am going to ask her one now. And the question is, or the statement, I'm making them all statements. I am not going to heaven. I am not going to heaven. And this one is for Toastmaster Evan Thomas.
Thank you so much for that question. I am not going to heaven. I am not going to heaven. That sounds really scary, especially for me. Because I absolutely do not agree with that statement because I am going to heaven. I have been working towards it all this time. I give, I honor the Lord, and I remembered when I was ill, He was there for me. And I continue to praise Him and lift up His name. And I do everything, or let's just say almost everything that He asks me to do, because we all do sin. But I am going to heaven. And I want you all to come to heaven with me. So I am encouraging you all to do the things that God asks us to do so that we can all go to heaven together. Thank you, Toastmaster Daphne.
And thank you very much, Toastmaster Evan. And she has incorporated everything. She gave us a twist, and we wanted that twist. I am not going to heaven. She gave us a twist. She is going to heaven, so that was the twist. She's not agreeing with that statement. Then she made her point. She gave us reason. She gave us an example, her own story, all that she's been doing to ensure that she goes to heaven. She's given us a call to action. Come follow her and get up to heaven with her. And then she reiterated that main point. Well done, Toastmaster Evan. So now we know we are going to pause, think, and speak. We're going to make a main point. We're going to use a structure, prep, point, reason, example, which is our story, and call to action if we can get one in there. and point again. And the next time we're called on for table topic, we will step up nimbly and respond. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Daphne, for that very engaging and informative session. I know all of us are going to take away prep from this session. We're going to remember it. I made sure that I messaged it to my other phone. So if for any reason I need to pull it up quick, I can run quickly to that WhatsApp chat with myself and I can see prep. I can also see stop or pause and think and then speak. Just remember that structure, prep. She repeated it so many times. Remember, repetition is the mother of learning. At this point, we are going to take a quick break of 5 minutes so we can stretch our legs, stretch our hands, go take a break to get some water. Remember, hydrate. It is very hot. Yes, drink some water and we will be back in 5 minutes.
No way.
I am a Toastmaster. Of course, I love table topics. I am a Toastmaster. Of course, I give constructive feedback. I'm a Toastmaster. Of course, I don't use filler words like and you know.
Thank you very much to our timer who has managed to keep us on time during our break. I do hope that you guys got up, you stretched your leg a bit, you got some water, and we are back and ready for our second presentation. We've already heard all of the accolades that come with our second presenter, his wealth of knowledge in not just public speaking, but table topic. In our club, we love when he gets to the lectern and move it away to speak. I invite to the lectern now none other than the Vice President of Education for the Total Toastmasters Club, Toastmaster Ernald George.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. It's truly an honor being here with you this afternoon. I adhere to the protocol already established. Just 1 second, let me share my screen. I was truly excited when I received the call to do this presentation, Mastering Table Topics. Table topics is something that I feel is necessary for each, not only Toastmasters, but each person to learn how to do, because it is a thing that happens in our life naturally. And in this presentation, I'm going to take you through Table Topics, content, framework, practice, and takeaways. The content in this presentation is something that I have been working on, trying to make table topics less intimidating and easier to do. Now, I'm presenting this information to you so that you can use it if you like, and you can develop it further. I really hope that it will be a benefit to Toastmasters and other people that are outside Toastmasters this afternoon as we present the information. This question was already answered during Toastmasters Daphne's presentation, but there's something I did not hear. Why do some Toastmasters really hate table topics? Why is it that when someone asks us a question, we feel so intimidated in answering the question when it's something that we do in our normal and daily interactions? If you go down the street and you meet your friend and they ask you a question, you can spend the next half an hour answering the question. But in Toastmasters, when you're asked a question by the table topics master, you are intimidated. Because why? Why are you really intimidated? Let me tell you a personal story that happened to me during secondary school. I believe they used to call it Form 1 at the time. And I was in Form 1, and somebody volunteered that I should be in a leadership position. I did not want to be in a leadership position because I felt I was a person who was normally withdrawn, a person who was very quiet and not open with other people, and I felt I was not ready for that. Days passed by, and I thought they had forgotten all about me. Now it's time for the meeting, and someone, the other lady who was supposed to be my partner, she came and she got me, and both of us were there in front of a group of people. And they expected me to give a short presentation. So let me tell you, I believe I spoke for less than 10 seconds, if that much. And I was so embarrassed that I had my head down while she did the rest of the speaking. Why? Because I was embarrassed. I believe a lot of times we do not want to answer the Toastmasters question because we feel that we will look silly in front of our peers. But we know that Toastmasters is an environment that supports us, so we shouldn't feel that way. But that is one of the answers really I was looking for, because a lot of persons, we do not want to look stupid in front of our peers. Yes, I use the word stupid because that was the word that was really on my mind. We don't want to look silly. We want to look good. And somehow answering a question just out of the blue, posted by a Tabletopics master, is quite intimidating for a lot of people. I hope as we go through this presentation that it will become less intimidated for you. There are two things that you need to answer a Tabletopics question. Good. To answer Tabletopics question very well. And these two things are, you need content and you need a framework or a place to put the content. A lot of us struggle with content because we think that we don't know how to answer the question. But the truth is about Tabletopics masters is that the question that a good Tabletopics master will give you is relatable to life experiences that you have gone through or probably are going through. The question that a good Tabletopics master will ask you are usually quite simple. Because why? Because a Tabletopics master wants you to answer the question. Imagine having a Tabletopics session and the Tabletopics master is posting questions and nobody's able to answer the question. That Tabletopics master will be embarrassed, really. And I know I would be, because nobody's able to answer the question because either they're too technical or they're just beyond the knowledge of a regular person. So usually you find that the questions that a Tabletopics master will put to you are relatable to life experiences that you have. Content. For the content that you have, the content that you need, when you are asked a question by a Tabletopics master, look into yourself and see if there's any experience that you have had in your life that you can use to answer this question, to answer the question that was posted to you. For example, we have had hurricanes. Usually hurricanes pass through here, but the one that is quite memorable is Hurricane Irma. If someone were to ask you now, how did you feel during Hurricane Irma? A lot of persons who are in the BVI and other places will be able to answer that question because using their own experiences. And they'll be able to tell you, oh, when the hurricane hit, I was in my house and then the windows started to break and we were forced to go into our son's bathroom and sit in the shower area. And we were there for about 4.5 hours while the hurricane break through our house and just break glass, and we listened to all the destruction out there, right? That was my experience, by the way. Using my own experience, I was able to find the content to answer that question. And the other thing is that you craft the content into a story that everyone can follow. A story is you're telling what happened in a sequential manner. You're telling it as it happened. I would suggest you tell the story like an 8th grader, 12 to 13-year-old. Tell the story, simple story that anyone can follow, and they'll follow along as you tell the story. One of the benefits of telling a story is that telling a story grabs the attention of anyone who's listening to you. In fact, what I've heard about stories is that they activate both hemispheres of the brain. Your right and your left hemispheres are activated when you tell stories. So when it comes to engaging your audience and you tell a story, you automatically have their attention because people like stories. They like to hear the experiences of others, which is actually what a story is. The experiences of other people and how they came through those experiences to stand before them today and speak to them, preferably in a story content. So use your own experience. When you're asked a question, the first thing you ask yourself, is there anything in my life that I can use to answer this question? And then tell it in story form. Oh, this happened to me, and this is what I did. And now, because I did that, I have reaped the benefits of what I have done. And here are the benefits. And you can do this too as a person who is probably or will go through the same experience. So when you're looking for content, look into yourself, and I'm sure you'll be able to find experiences in your own life that you can craft into a story or tell them as a story that will benefit your other Toastmasters. The other thing is framework. Now, when I said framework here, I mean a place to put the content. One of the things that all of us need to understand as Toastmasters, when you are answering a Tabletopics question, you're actually giving a speech. And a speech has to have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion, especially if you are entering a contest. This framework for the content here, it's called the man in the hole. I have found that most of the Toastmasters question can fit into this format. If you begin with your comfort zone, you are actually introducing the topic. And from the trigger to the recovery phase, you're given information. That's the body. And a better place is the conclusion. If you use this format, you will automatically deliver a well-crafted speech. And I found that the man in the hole is normal for life, because we go through a comfort zone in life, then something happens, whether sickness or disease, and we fall into a crisis or we fall into a hole. For example, let's say you are walking down the street and you're feeling good. You feel good in your body, you feel good. Then all of a sudden, you fall down on the sidewalk. The ambulance come, pick you up, and takes you to the hospital. The doctors examine you, and they find out that you have a cancer in your body. The cancer is just at the point where it's beginning to metastasize. I mean, it's still at that stage, but it's breaking out and beginning to metastasize. Now, you have to go through the chemo, and in order to have a recovery or some semblance of a better life, and you work your way out and you survive it. Now, the comfort zone is you walking down the street feeling good. You're feeling good, you're feeling well, and you have no idea of the terror that's brewing inside your body. Let's say it's colon. You have no idea that there's a terror in your body called colon cancer, right? But your body knows. Your body has been trying to fight it. Your immune system has been activated, and it's fighting, but your immune system now is starting to lose the battle. And when the immune system starts to lose the battle, you fall on the sidewalk because the body cannot sustain itself anymore. That's the trigger. You fall, and now you go into a crisis. You go into the hospital, and they run different tests on you, and they diagnose you with colon cancer. Now, you're a fighter. You decide you're not going to let colon cancer kill you. So you fight, and you claw your way out using chemotherapy and the other kinds of therapy that they have now for your recovery as you move out to a better place. Now you survive the cancer. You survive the cancer. You change your diet, and now you're eating right and everything else. And now you are now cancer-free. So you have gone through this battle here. And as you can see, it's the man in the hole, which is, I find, it's indicative of a lot of things that we go through. And I find that a lot of questions that are asked in table topics, you can put them into this format. If you put them into this format, you automatically have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. If you use this format in a contest, you will not lose marks for not having either an introduction or a proper conclusion, because this here automatically will provide that for you once you follow the man in the whole thing. Now, my goal in putting this together was to make table topics less intimidating for Toastmasters, because I find a lot of people, a lot of people hated table topics, and I was wondering, well, why are you hating table topics? Why? Because table topics for me was a challenge. And for me, if you put a challenge in front of me, I have to find a way to overcome that challenge. And this is one of the ways, something like I'm still working on. And I'm hoping that you out there, you can make it even better than it is right now as I have presented it. Now these are the different areas, that you normally go through. Now when you go to the comfort zone, the comfort zone here is not a bad place to be. Everybody wants to be comfortable. You want to be in a comfort zone. You do not want to be in a place where you're not comfortable, where you have to do something, or you don't want to do, or move somewhere you don't want to move. It's your comfort zone. But then something happened just like that. Like the cancer story I just told you, it happened, so you think it's quick, but it wasn't quick. It happened to your body. You fall on the sidewalk. Now that's a trigger. That's the trigger causing you to go into the crisis. Causing you to go into the crisis. Now you're down in a hole, basically. You're down in a hole, and you have two choices. You can either stay in the hole and die, or you can crawl your way out of the hole, which is called recovery. You can come out of the hole and put what you have learned to good use, or change your lifestyle in the case of the cancer so that it doesn't come back again. And consequently, you are now in a better place because you have done all of that. You have done what you needed to do in order to overcome the cancer. This framework here will take you actually practicing it, because you'll have to remember the man in the hole. Oh, here is the comfort zone. Then all of a sudden I'm hit. I'm down in the hole. Now I have to crawl my way back out. If you just remember how it is shaped, comfort zone, trigger, down in the hole, you're in a crisis now, and you crawl your way out. And if you look at most instances, most things that happen in life, that's the pattern. I love to go back to Hurricane Irma. We were in the BVI and other places are the same. We can have the same testament. We were in the BVI, and here we are doing good, economy doing good, and everything going good. And then Irma hit, took us out of our comfort zone, put us in a deep hole, right? Now, personally, we were out of electricity for 5 months. Now, could you imagine living without electricity for 5 months, living on generator power, buying all that gas and everything? But slowly, we enter into the recovery. We decided not to stay there. We entered the recovery phase, and now we crawled our way out, or worked our way out, and now we're now in a better place. And I find that most of the Tabletopics questions can follow this framework. I was looking at one of Toastmaster Daphne's question. I was looking at one of Toastmasters Daphne's questions, and she said, why should we prioritize Toastmasters? Why should we prioritize Toastmasters? And I was looking to see if I could put this into the format of the man in the hole. Okay, let's see if I can. Why should we prioritize Toastmasters? I was a preacher in my church for many years. I was given many compliments, and many persons told me that you're good, you're doing good, I'm doing good. But to me, I made a decision that I was going to improve my speaking skills every single year. And I did that. Every year, I would look on the internet for a way that I could improve my speaking skills, or rather my ability to preach and deliver the word efficiently. But there came one year when everything that I knew I had already learned, I needed another place where I could be trained as a speaker, improve my speaking and leadership skills. And that is when I went looking for Toastmasters. I went looking for Toastmasters, and I joined the Tortola Toastmasters Club. That's about 7 years ago. Because I had a goal I needed to fulfill, and the Toastmasters Club had the means to do that. I entered into the club, and enthusiastically, I started doing the projects, and slowly I started to become a much better presenter, a much better preacher. And people noticed the difference in my presentations. I would hear myself speak, and even the way I spoke while I was preaching was different. Now today, I can say that my preaching has gone to a whole new level because Toastmasters. That is why we should prioritize Toastmasters, because Toastmasters is the place that helped me, and Toastmasters is the place that will help you improve your leadership skills and become a better speaker. Now, you saw what I did with that. I took Toastmaster Daphne's question, why should we prioritize Toastmasters? And I placed it into the man in the whole framework. The comfort zone was when I was doing good, I was preaching well, I was receiving compliments. That was my comfort zone. Okay? Now, the trigger was when I decided I needed more. I needed more, and I was not willing to accept the status quo anymore. And when I decided that, I went into a crisis because I started looking for something more, and I found Toastmasters. I entered the club, joined the club, started doing the project, and I started to recover as I worked my way through the projects to become a better speaker. And now, because of that, I am at a better place in my life because of Toastmasters. And that is why we should prioritize Toastmasters in our lives. That is one of the questions that I took from Toastmasters Daphne, just to see if I could place it into the man in the whole framework. And yes, that will work very well. That one worked very well, and there are a lot of other questions that we can place into that framework as we move through. Now, this is what I want us to do, us as Toastmasters. I was going to ask a different question, but okay. I would like Toastmaster volunteers to practice doing table topics based on the questions that I asked, using the man in the whole and your own experience, using your own experience and the man in the whole and the man in the whole framework that I have presented. The question I want to ask is this: how did you feel when you went through a hurricane or a natural disaster? How did you feel when you went through a hurricane or a natural disaster? Alexa want to volunteer. I can't see the names when I share. I'd like a volunteer for this question. How did you feel when you went through a hurricane or natural disaster, or something else in your life that was a disaster? How did you feel? Using the framework the man in the whole framework, comfort zone, trigger, crisis, better recovery, better place, try and put your answer into that framework. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just practice. Who's a volunteer?
I will volunteer if I could keep my camera off, if you don't mind.
Any volunteers do we have?
Toastmaster Vanessa.
Here we go. How about Toastmaster Rosanna Brown? Toastmaster Rosanna Brown, can you try?
Hey, Toastmaster Ernald, you had someone volunteering already. You had Toastmaster, I can't remember the name now.
So I don't know if he's not hearing me. You're hearing me?
Can you hear well, Toastmaster Ernald?
He's not hearing. I don't know if he's hearing anyone.
It doesn't seem like
how
he's
about
hearing us.
Toastmaster Mashanda Nisbet?
No, he's not hearing anyone. I think he's.
Would you like to try?
Oh?
There's something wrong with his bandwidth.
Put up your hand virtually, Toastmaster Vanessa. That way he may see you. If you put your hand up virtually.
He can't share. He can't see when he's sharing. Well, something Sylvia and Shirley said.
Can't hear you.
Okay, how about Division Director Elka Price?
He's not hearing.
I raised my hand, but I don't think he can see it as he's sharing screen. Toastmaster Ernald, can you hear us? I think his headphones aren't connected.
Hello, are you all hearing me?
Yes, we are.
Hello? Will someone say something? Because I'm not sure if you're hearing me.
Toastmaster Ernald.
Yes, we are hearing you.
He's not hearing us.
He's not hearing us.
And he's not checking the chat.
But apparently he's not seeing either.
He's not here getting the chat either.
Okay. Okay, how about Toastmaster Villette Benjamin?
We're not hearing you.
We're hearing you. You're not hearing us.
Nobody wants to try. It's only a Toastmasters question.
Message him, but I don't think he's seeing the messages either.
Toastmaster Melanie, I did not hear you.
See?
Hello?
Toastmaster Ernald, can you hear us?
He's on the phone.
I think
somebody's
somebody's
trying
probably
to-
alerting him to the issue.
Mhm.
Can you hear us now, Arnold?
Hello, it appears I was having some technical difficulties with the headphones.
Hi, can you hear us now?
Okay, could you speak?
He still can't hear us.
He has 5 minutes left.
So I can know that I can hear you. Somebody say something.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3.
I'm still not hearing anything.
Okay, let me lower my hand.
He may need to log out and log back in.
I was thinking the same.
Okay,
the person that has this number could you probably
I can hear you now.
Get past
I can hear you now. It was I can hear you now.
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
Toastmaster Ernald, you have 4 minutes left.
Okay, thank you.
So Toastmaster Ernald, you had volunteers, so you had Toastmaster Vanessa, or was it Carissa? I think you had Toastmaster Vanessa who volunteered quite early when you asked the question, and then you had another volunteer. But with the 5 minutes, you can get Toastmaster Vanessa to go ahead.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right.
You're still there?
Yes, I'm still here. Okay, could we have just one volunteer and then we can end the session. Just one of the volunteers that volunteered before, please.
Yes, what was remind me of the question? It was something to do with disaster.
Okay. Could you describe how you felt when you went through a disaster in your life? Could be a hurricane, could be a personal thing, marital problems, anything that you want to describe. Please describe it using the man in the hole method, and then we look at it.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, as someone who's been through a hurricane, probably a category 4, and also volcano disasters, I can speak to disasters here on Montserrat. I would speak specifically about the volcano because we were at a time when we were thriving. We were actually recovering from Hurricane Hugo, and everything was getting back to normal. And lo and behold, one day we were told that the volcano, who we did not expect in our lifetime to erupt, had started erupting. And that was just chaos. It forced people to move from one place to the other, abandon their families. It was just a period of uncertainty and fear. I myself had to migrate to the UK, but eventually things settled down and I was able to repatriate my home. And although it has not completely gone back to sleep, we are living together with it, hoping for the best. Back to you, Toastmaster Arnold.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmasters. One question. Okay, one second. Okay. What the Toastmaster said was that she talked about a volcano erupting, but before that, there was no volcano erupting like that, so they had a comfort zone. Then the volcano erupted, it caused a crisis, and they had to move. I know a lot of Montserratians had to go to, they actually ended up in England. So now, the crisis was a volcano erupting, causing them to move to a different place. And they moved to a different place, had to reestablish themselves again. And now they are living their lives in a better place. That is she put the framework, she put the entire story into the man in the hole scenario, as we can see. Thank you, Toastmaster, for giving a presentation. Okay, now the whole thing is, let me see. Okay, the takeaways from this discussion. Use your personal experiences for your content. When you ask a question at a Tabletopics or by a Tabletopics master, look into your own lives and see if you can use your experiences for your own experiences for content and tell it like a story. Tell it like a 8th grader would tell a story, nice and simple. And frame the story, put it into the man in the hole, where you were in a better place. Now you have a trigger, you end up in a crisis, you recover, and now you're in a better place. And you'll find that when you do it like that, you'll have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. I like to leave you with this quote. Speak clearly if you speak at all. Carve every word before you let it fall. And this is by Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. Thank you very much, Toastmasters, for the opportunity to share this information with you. It's truly my pleasure